Hey guys, welcome to another video, and I'm checking out this BBC Symphony Orchestra Discover from Spitfire Audio, and this is like the sort of core basic BBC Symphony Orchestra that they do. This thing costs £49, but you can get it completely free, which I'll explain in a moment. Unbelievably, this entire orchestra install for all the samples is just 200 megabytes. 200 megabytes! It's utterly ludicrous. So I've been messing around with that Valhalla thing. Remember I did the foley for that Valhalla, so I knocked up this little thing. Look, I don't write score or anything. I don't have any music theory at all. But this is what I came up with.
The time has come to speak to them in a language they will understand.
Yeah, that's all I've got for that so far. This thing is just epic, mate. I'm telling you. What else have I got? I made this little theme. The thing about this plugin is it makes you just want to create with it. Yeah, I did this. Let me just put a cycle range on this. This little theme thing I came up with. Again, you know, I don't write classical stuff. I've got no musical training. But we're musicians, you know, whether we do rock or electronic music, we understand the principles of the bass and the mids and the pads and the chords and the melody and the hooks and all the rest of it. It's just a sort of greater extension of that, really. Anyway, I came up with this little, it's sort of like a very slow marching anthemic type thing. And it's just primary strings. And then cellos under that. There's some tremolo strings in there. Which are high and quite low. Basses. And the basses are also doing a walking thing here with pizzicato bass. Which works, you know, with the percussion, which is a very slow march. Now, then the horns come in for the, where is it? The horns for the epicness, because horns just make everything sound epic, do you know what I mean? Yeah, there's some harp in here. It says cellos there, but that's just, it's not cellos. And the harp is doing a walking thing with the walking bass. And there's some other cellos down here doing doing a walking thing as well. And I don't know about these second horns doing a walk, like a... Bass trombones and oboes, 2 lots of. There's some low cellos here, or whatever they're doing. Let's bring the epic horns back in. And let's bring in the strings, all that top stuff there. And there's some female vocal pad I added in there as well, which is Logic's own library. Etc, etc. Yeah, this thing, as I said, it I don't do score. I haven't got any musical training at all. But it's this instrument is a bit like when you sit down with a really high quality grand piano. I don't know if you've ever done that, but you sit down in a quiet room with a really good quality grand piano, and you just hit one note and you just start playing with the dynamics of that note, the gentlest possible touch, loud hits, etc. It just sounds so amazing. You find yourself being drawn into it, and you end up, even if you don't play piano, sitting there and working something out, because just a few notes and a few chords sound so amazing when you start playing with the absolute basics. Do you know what I mean? And this instrument draws you in that way. It's phenomenal. It really is. Now, this instrument costs £49, and as I said, the install size is a staggeringly low 200 megabytes. I mean, that's just ridiculously small in terms of the sample set size. That's just crazy, man. 200 meg. You know, we used to sample libraries for things like orchestras being gigabytes. And how they've managed to do that, I really don't know, but they have. Okay, £49, but here's the thing. You can get it completely free. Look in the description below, and you'll find a link, and you go to that link, and what you do is you set up a free account with Spitfire Audio, you know, email, password, all that, and as far as I remember that, you have to verify that, and then you can go through to fill in a survey. Now, it is quite an extensive survey, probably takes 15-20 minutes to fill in, but once you've finished and you submit it, 14 days later, a link arrives at your email box. You go to the link, log in, and you download this instrument completely free. Once it's installed, you then open it up and it downloads all the sample content, etc. It's completely free, but you just have to wait 14 days, or you can get it for 49 quid. Now, I got into this because of that Valhalla thing. Where is it? You know, when I did all the foley for that, and I was thinking about, you know, doing some music to it as the next step. I think I got turned onto this instrument by Guy Mitchellmore's channel, who works quite a lot with Spitfire. If you haven't seen his channel, go and check it out. It's really good. Yeah, and here it is. This thing is amazing. So look, I'm not going to go too massively in depth with this, but basically the way I found it best to work is I'll start with a primary instrument, right? So I'll set an instance of it up on a track, and I'll probably just go with the violins, the straight violins, okay? Let me just knock this back to there. And make something up, and then what I'll do is I'll just get that track and duplicate it. So then on a new track I have the instrument already. I'll just open it up and switch to a different orchestra section and then add a second part. And it's just so easy to work like that. Let me just undo that track creation. So look, let me make it. Actually, I will make a duplicate of that actually for this. So, you know, here's the instrument. Now, just bear in mind something up here. You've got this dynamics. Now, the dynamics only seems to work because all your string sections are available in long, which is sustain, spiccato, pizzicato, or tremolo. Now, for the sustain type playing, like tremolo and long, the dynamic stuff here doesn't work. You need to work with this for the dynamics. Hitting the keys at different velocities makes no difference. But if you switch to spiccato, then that does make a difference. And here we've got, if I set it to full velocity range and linear, then I get what I expect on the tin. Same with pizzicato. Yeah? But for the long stuff, it's a bit confusing because this doesn't work at all. This is your dynamics then. Now the dynamics is about the different, because there are different sample layers. Okay, when you have loud, it is different to the more gentle. And then this is your, that's dynamics, and this is your expression, which by default is assigned to MIDI CC11, the expression pedal, right? You can do learn, but I've tried to do learn, to assign it to something like the pitch wheel, and it won't. I can't get it to learn any of the controllers on my Oxygen 25 except for the mod wheel. So you can assign it to the mod wheel, and then you've got expression, which is loudness, and dynamics, both mapped. To the same thing. If you want to reset that, just go up here and do reset. Boom, and it's back to assigned to the expression pedal. So for all strings and all woodwinds and all brass, in regular playing mode, long, which is sustain type playing, then this is your loudness, so to speak, your dynamics. Right? But in staccato mode, then this takes over. So you got, let's just quickly look at that with these staccato horns. If I set it to full velocity range linear, then I get, right? See, that's not working now. Okay. Then the velocity on the keyboard, you get what you expect. You can set the different velocity types as a shelf, where you get sort of, you don't have to be very careful about playing incredibly gently to get gentle. Then there's a sort of plateau around the middle amount of velocity. But to get the loud stuff, you've really got to hit, right? Or you've got two exponentials. There's negative exponential, where most of your playing velocity you get very quiet until you really hit it. Then you get the loud or back to front. In exponential positive, even the gentlest hit, you can get the lower stuff if you're incredibly careful. But as soon as you start hitting the keys a little bit harder, then you get the louder stuff. Okay? Compressed velocity high. Well, gentle hits, louder hits, you're compressing the velocity up at a higher level. So it's all high, or compressed velocity low. You haven't got to be that careful. But if you really hammer the keys, you'll get some louder stuff. So the staccato for brass and the spiccato. Let me just hang on. It is okay. Full velocity linear. Right, we're on spiccato. And that works, pizzicato. That works, but if I go to tremolo, it doesn't. Then for any bowed stuff, you're on the you're on this dynamics thing here, right? This is reverb. There is reverb on all the stuff, but you can add additional reverb on. And it's like sort of without it. There is reverb, right? But add this in. There's more reverb, basically. Okay, so that's it, and it's just so easy to work. You just, you can choose the sections here, but you've got your first violins, which are more lush, right? Secondary violins, which are more kind of, how do you describe it, scrapey, a bit thinner and scrapier, a bit more up front. The violas, the cellos, and basses. Right, then you've got all your French horns here. Brass here, tubas, bass trombones, tenor trombones, and trumpets. This is all your woodwind, bassoons, clarinets, oboes, flutes, and piccolos. Yeah. And this is all your percussion and tune percussion here. So harp and celeste, you choose harp or celeste. It's got some beautiful low end tone, the harp, it really does. Or celeste. Here's your tune percussion, tubular bells. Marimba. Oh. As I said, I don't play keyboard. Xylophone. There's a little squirrel in a tree. Glockenspiel. And finally your drum type percussion. There are two choices. Timpani hits basically gives you, across all black and white keys in this key range you see here. Or this is your map of different percussion drums. Big bass drum, couple of snares, crash cymbal, then this is cymbals being rubbed together. Gong, tambourine, tom, triangle, castanet, cowbell, metal thing, whatever that is. Cymbals. That instrument, whatever that's called, vibroslap is it or something? I don't know. And a little plasticky wooden type pot thing. There, that's your lot. Now, as I said, the brass is all available in long. Or staccato. That's all the brass. French horns, all the brass over here, and the woodwinds as well. All in long or staccato. And that rule about the dynamics that I showed you works, with the long stuff, whether it's strings or brass. The long stuff you want to work with the dynamic controller here, but for staccato you've got choices of curve, right? So all your brass and woodwind has the choice of long and staccato. All your strings have the choice of long or tremolo, which are both sustain type playing, in which case you use the dynamic controller, or spiccato and pizzicato, apart from the basses which don't have tremolo. And that's it, that's your lot. Easy peasy, right? This thing is just ultra addictive, it really is. Now, there's a couple of other things. If we go to the strings here, and if I go down the keyboard, this isn't shifting the playable range of the keyboard here, we're just going down the keyboard to look at the bottom. There's your key switches. In the case of these, there are 4 because there are 4 different types of playing. And then I can get this and click and drag to the right and or left and move this key switching to be wherever I want. Right now it's below the playing area. There, right, like that. So, I can go and switch between them. Right, let's put that back where it was. So yeah, you can set that up, and for brass I suppose it's the same. Yeah, they're 2 key switches. You can bring them up under. Oh, come on, bring them up. Come on, bring them up at the bottom wherever you want to place them. I suppose you should be able to put them up above, shouldn't you? Yeah, you can put them up above the playing range as well. So that's my brass. So now you can key switch. Okay. Let's pop that back down the bottom. Right there. So that's it. Yeah. This thing here is, well, you don't really need this. There's stuff in here because these different Spitfire products, they do much more advanced BBC Orchestra, like really advanced, with loads of different features and loads of different playing types as sample sets. But they all interact with each other. So I think they share some kind of common interface. So this just is stuff relating to, copy settings to all Spitfire products. You can adjust the scale of this interface here. Just adjust it and do set. You can collapse the instrument, by the way, there to make, if you don't need to see that bit once you've done whatever you're doing. What else we got here? There's a few other bits and bobs. I think the stream samples in as well. It's got stuff about sample streaming, and I think it dumps samples out of memory when they're not being played, etc. And you can choose a starting preset when you open the plugin, etc. Right, there you go. I mean, this thing is, to me, it's fantastic. Yes, you see, I wondered, do you really need this? Because in Logic, I mean, we've already got, Orchestra, we've got all our brass, we've got a harp, we got all the same tune percussion and drum percussion, all our different types of strings, and all of our woodwinds. So do you need this? Well, the answer is this is just so simple to use. It sounds so good, and it's so light on the old CPU. This is incredibly light. It really is, and it's so efficient, and it sounds so amazing. So I would say, yeah, absolutely. If I'm going to do any of this type of work, which I don't normally do, but if I was, I would definitely use this. Once I got something worked out, I might go in and look at some of the Logic stuff, particularly for soloing. For example, there's no solo flute in here. These are sections, these, right? So I could go into woodwinds. There is a solo flute solo, things like that. And clarinet solo, and bassoon solo, right? which I think probably has some key switches for different phrasing or something. I don't know. But, you know, yeah, this is just way easier to use than going here and choosing a thing and all the rest of it. You just bing, bang, bong. Easy peasy stuff. Yeah. So there it is. Yeah, this Valhalla thing. What I should do is I should bounce off a mix of the foley, and put it up online so you guys can grab it if you want to have a go at doing something to it. But anyway, this is. I'll just finish by playing you this. Let's take those choirs out. This won't be mixed right, but let's hear it anyway one last time.
Time has come to speak to them in a language they will understand.
Right in the head. Yeah, so get it. This thing is absolutely epic. It really is. I mean, 200 megabytes. It's insane, man. Absolutely insane. Check the link in the description. As I said, that'll take you to the place where you can get it free. Okay. Hope that's useful. As usual, please subscribe, and just as importantly, get the word out about the channel on any social media or forums used, etc. The more people, the merrier. There's a huge amount of content on this channel covering all aspects of sound engineering and music production and everything like that. Yeah. So yeah, I hope that's useful, and I'll see you for the next one.